I have several thoughts that tail off that. I don't know if I have a point necessarily, so I'm just going to kind of ramble a little bit, but um, I want to stick on the point of like the kid's ability to pay attention to the details, because that's something that I've noticed so I have two like bigger workout groups right now in the gym. So I have the older kids, which is their grade 11 and 12, and then I have the grade 9s and 8s. Okay, so I have some of the grade 10s up with the grade 11s and 12s as well. So grade 9s and 8s and some grade 7s are a group, and then the older guys are a group. And the difference in their ability to listen to what I'm saying is so big, even though like they're actually not that far apart in age. It's just so the difference is so vast. So like when we were doing some sprint start drills today, and just my explaining the like very basic steps of what you're supposed to do, the older kids just grasp and the younger kids just don't. So the things that I have to reinforce with the younger group is like how to set up properly. So if I say, hey, yeah, face the left, right foot on the ground, that like is very straightforward. Like face that way, your right foot is here. And it'll be like they'll face the wrong way and their left foot is up. And so the ability for them to actually comprehend the detail that we're talking about is just not there yet for a lot of them. And so what I've found, like, I guess maybe my point of saying that's for me is I'm allowing them more space with the younger ages to just explore what I'm asking without being so caught up on them doing it 100% correct. So when we're doing these sprint start variations, I would have to stop every 5 seconds. Like we wouldn't even be able to do any of the drills because I would be stopping every single time to make correction. And so for me with the younger group versus the older group, I'm way more lenient about them doing things incorrect to a degree. Like as long as it's not something dangerous or so wrong that it like is like completely not serving any purpose whatsoever. If they're kind of in the ballpark, but it's kind of wrong, but more like closer to being right than wrong, but it's still kind of wrong, I just let them explore it and figure it out because they don't have the comprehension skills. They don't have some of the body awareness skills. And like, that's part of it. Like we're skill building in some of this and some of these movements. Whereas with the older kids, if I'm doing a sprint start, I can really dial in on them. Like for right now, because we're so early in the off season, that it's about mechanics. It's not about 100% speed and explosiveness right now. It's about the mechanics, getting off the ground properly, pushing properly, knee driving properly, forward lean properly, all those things. And so whereas later in the season or in the off season, it would be more about that explosiveness. And so I can focus on the point of the exercise with the older kids. Whereas with the younger kids, I'm just focusing on what the exercise even is, like how to do some version of the exercise in general. So it's like they aren't even at the point where they can do the exercise for the purpose. They're just trying to figure out how to do the exercise in general first, right? So when you're talking about their ability to dial in on the details, depending on the age we're talking about, it's such a challenge. And this is why you have to continually go back and reteach the same stuff. And part of the frustration of being a skills coach is it's frustrating for us, but it's just part of the process. Like you have to recycle and go back. So like one of the comments I was hearing today is we were doing a scapular, like a retraction drill, which is really difficult for kids that don't know how to use their shoulder blades. So for the older kids, it's about the mobility of the shoulder blades. For the younger kids, it's about learning where your shoulder blades are and how to even use them.
Yeah, how to activate
exactly.
them. Yeah.
So I'm showing the one of our girls today was in the gym, and she was go from like a dead hang, so your elbows are totally locked out, and you're just trying to move just from your scaps. And she wasn't really getting it. She kind of was like bending the elbows while she was doing it, whatever. But at the bottom of the movement, I didn't even say anything to her. I wasn't correcting her. I was just letting her play around with the exercise. And she just made the comment to one of the other girls that I feel so long when I'm doing the movement. Like that was what she just said in passing. And I just happened to hear it as I was walking by. And I was like, okay, so she figured out how to actually release and like let herself sit as long as possible at the bottom of the movement. And that's part of learning the movement. So if I go into it thinking you need to, have this movement down and perfect and to the exact way I'm explaining it, some of them just won't be able to do it. For her, this was the first time she's ever felt herself actually fully relax her torso to allow her shoulder blades to go down, or in this case, and go up to release so that the rest of herself can elongate. Like she's never felt that sensation before. So it's like I'm trying to explain to you how to do this, and this is how you're supposed to do the movement, but you've never felt what any of these body parts are with any kind of actual awareness. And so when we're talking about, back to the toe drag example, it's like they're shooting it out and you're saying, no, like you have to let your bottom hand has to slide, your bottom hand has to slide, your bottom hand has to slide. And like they don't understand what sliding the bottom hand from the elbow, from the shoulder, what does that actually feel like? You know, so like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like move my bottom hand. I get that. It's like, well, yeah, but it's also coming from your elbow. It's also coming from your shoulder. And if you haven't made that connection yet with your mind, there's a lot to it. So like I just spent.
Or the other thing is they think that they know already. So that's the other point. That's the other point is they think, well, I already done this before. I know how to do it, but it's not done correctly or properly. Right. So that's like, so I overcome that by making them remove their bottom hand. And now we start with that. Yeah. So that you have to do your upper body, and then if it doesn't work, then it's still a combination with your lower body, right? And then you add the bottom line. But anyways, but I know what you're saying. But then the other side is like, are you actually listening to it?
So I guess
and that's
like,
the youth thing again. Right. I know.
And like bringing it full circle, I guess that's my point. Is like there's kind of these two pieces 100%. That as a coach, 100%. As whoever is the teacher that you're juggling of like, okay, on the one hand, I know they can only listen so much. On the other hand, I know that they're going to be in a rush because they just want to shoot the puck or they just want to go to the next thing.
They want to come and work hard.
Yeah, exactly. So
skate, and piss around.
Yeah. So it's kind of balancing those things as a coach. I guess maybe that's my point. Is at the end of it is like on the point that you're making about actually trying to get them to listen and slow down and buy in, and then on the other hand, grasping and understanding the fact that they can only do that so much. And to a degree, it's just going to be let them feel the reps.
Yeah. So right? It goes back to, like, so if this is an issue, or if you want to call it an issue, if this is an issue with a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old, that they don't listen real well, or they don't sit there and absorb information the way you want them to, and with players that are pretty good, or pretty good and above, right? Then, and to your point exactly, is you have to let them just do something anyways. Like you can't just sit there and correct every little thing. You got to let them try, fail, and see who's gonna pick up the good stuff and who's gonna listen and pay attention. But if they don't, if they're even in the ballpark of doing something, then they're in the ballpark of doing something. So if you can't get that really done really well at 13, 14, 15, 16, what do you think is happening at 5, 6, 7, 8? And this is my point when people are like, teach hockey and do all these different drills, and the more talking you do, it's like they just need the reps. So when you're doing a skill development process for a 6 or 7 or 8-year-old, it's not about how specific it is. It's like, carry the puck, something like this, turn to your right, and then if you can and try to come out of the crossover with your head up and speed, that's a lot. Yeah. And if they turn left, they turn left. They only turn one way, it's one way. What you're doing is just trying to get them to do something. When you're doing those young guys, I think mostly by default, by doing a lot of reps of, skating, turning, paddling the puck, shooting, adding stuff into it. It's just, that's how you're going to get better.
Yeah.
Not real specific.
But an analogy to that just kind of came to mind, because I know this happens in school, just as one example. Like if you go to a kid that's in like grade 5 and you say, hey kid, write an essay. It's like, but I can't write yet. Yeah. Like I can't even write. So they don't even have a frame. Like they first need the tool to do the task that you're asking. If they don't have the tool yet, they can't use the tool. So if you're saying stick handle with your head up, and it's like, I don't even know how to stick handle yet. It's like, I can't do stick handle plus. I can't do shoot plus. I can't do pass plus, skate plus. I can't do it yet. I don't have the tool to do what you're asking. And so there's not like a lot of tolerance at the younger, I shouldn't say it that way. At the younger ages, like people, I think, overlook or maybe get that desire to maybe be in a rush to get to the next teaching point and the next step and the next thing that they need to learn. It's like, yeah, but they're not solid on what they're doing yet.
Well, so add in instruction while they're trying to do that. I was just thinking about this the other day because we had so many texts going on. But think about this: if a coach or a parent wants to actually understand what we're talking about, is I'm horrible on the phone. Like when I have to text someone, it's like pull the hat down, tongue
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah.
I'm horrible, right? So I
Yeah.
had there's people around me all weekend, right? Like family. No, that's I'm not saying that in a bad way. So talking and all that stuff, but I also had to answer all these texts that we were going through, and there was like a what plus with the texting plus trying to understand that plus people talking to me.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man! I'm going nuts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'd go, okay, so we'd be talking like this. And I'm like, oh, just a second, I got to get this, and then you finish your sentence, and most people are like, yeah, yeah, but and actually a lot of people do that. You talk to them, and they're like stuck here doing the task, right? So you take that as a hockey player, right? You're sitting there. You want me to absorb this, your words, but I've got my phone and I'm texting or I'm reading something here. It's like you got one ass, you can't
Yeah.
ride two horses,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
can't do it. So it's like something's got to give. So if you got a kid skating now or trying to do a drill, he's actually texting. He's sitting there going, putting a sentence together, like right. He's thinking and thinking and thinking, and then he might hear what you're saying. Go, huh? What? I'm trying to do my task.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.